It's the day after the Vyasa Puja. And as I was explaining to Jack and Min, I'm like an athlete, so I kind of was so focused and so prepared for that event. I was up so early. I chanted a lot. Everything was all. And an athlete, they leave everything on the field. So after the game, they have nothing left. So I got back, slept much later than usual, chanted much less rounds than I usually have done, much less preparation. Got my Suchi kit at the Revals. I don't have my T-lock. I'm a mess. I'm a mess, but wow, what a wonderful, wonderful function. So what I'm going to do is I'm practically almost not going to go back like I usually do. I'm just going to go forward. I'm just going to read the purports and see. But I'm looking at the list of people on the thing, so I know my audience. And it's practically all the people that were at the Vyasa Puja, actually speaking, 90%. So I can't give my Vyasa Puja lecture again. But I'll say something, maybe expand on one point. I didn't eat much except for the sweets. And Jayasubhadra's sweet rice and Chinmaya's 7-layer Russian cake and cookies. So, reading from the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta, Volume 1, Chapter 3, Text 13. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Śrī Nārada uvāca. Satyam bhavān viṣṇor. Vaiṣṇavānāṁ durgamām. Nigūḍhāṁ mahima-śreṇīṁ. Vetti vijñāpayaty. Śrī Nārada said, you certainly know the confidential, mysterious glories of Lord Viṣṇu and the Vaiṣṇavas, and you expertly explain those glories. Commentary. Although the greatness of the Lord and his devotees is a fathomless mystery, Lord Shiva and the other empowered Vaishnavacharyas are able to help ordinary conditioned souls understand it. Narada hopes Lord Shiva will accept praise, at least on this account. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Taksur Unmalatam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sapadantikam Vansha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vayevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaiṣṇavebhyo Namo Namah. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasade Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I have some important things, some message that I really have to check. So let me just get this here for a second. Okay. Well, greetings from, what's the name of the place? Nava Nalacha Dham. Jack's house. We have nice Jagannath, and the Panchatattva is coming. So that's very nice. So again, we're on that Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. And yesterday we discussed, because it's in my initiation as a journey, and one point that maybe I wanted to elaborate on is this point of humility being the key to bhakti. And that humility begins with our own failure as the controller and enjoyers. And that's really what the material world is. So in one sense, that's a mercy, even though it's painful. It's our failure as the enjoyers and controllers. And once we recognize that and put our hands in the air and say, Krishna, from this day I am yours, then all the problems end. All of them. I'm thinking of this one lady who was leaving her body in Vrindavan, and Andrew was coming to do kirtan. And she was a business lady. And she really helped the devotees, had a beautiful devotee son, Ananda Tirtha. I think he's a secretary for the GBC or something. And she was a business lady in Perth. And she was dying of cancer, and then a few days before, about a week before she was about to leave, she decided she wants to go back to Australia or something. Andrew was so upset with her. He didn't mention it. But her caretakers were really, she was really under the guidance of Borijan and his wife. You don't, people free will. You don't try to impose your will, and, you can say something. But as soon as she said that, her body dropped to the extent that she couldn't even possibly travel. And then she accepted her death. And what I kind of understood from that is what these terminal diseases are, is Krishna saying loudly, you're not the controller. You're not the controller. And then when you accept that, and you even accept that Krishna taking your life is part of his plan for you to elevate your consciousness, and then you surrender to Krishna and even surrender to death as the will of Krishna, you have no death because you overcome the false ego. You overcome the false ego. I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. And that's what covers the soul. And what is liberation? Muktir hitva yata rupam. Mukti is hitva yata rupam, other yata rupam, form, external form. Mukti, you give that up. Sarupena, as opposed to yata rupam, sarupena. Swa, your own rup. Vastita, you become situated. So it has to begin with humility, which is also connected to enlightenment or knowledge, because what is humility is embracing what you are. An illusion is wanting to be what you're not, and Krishna facilitating that. He's facilitating a position that you can't. If I was God, I would, basically, if I was God, I'd make myself God. That's what we're saying. Why has God made the world this way? What other way do you want the world to be? Except that you're part of God. The only other option is that you're God. I can make the world better. I would control this. I would control that. That's all you're saying. Just accept it. And this is our struggle, just to throw the hands up like Draupadi and accept it, accept Krishna's will. And all our anxieties, all our pain are our attachments. The little things that give us pleasure cause us the most pain. The little things that give us pleasure cause the most pain. And we're so damn attached to those little things. I wrote an article about that. You'll read it in Monday Morning Greetings. I like in my Monday Morning Greetings, it's kind of a variety. This one is very little. It's like simple. Usually I get into a point and I try to analyze it and make it clear. And that's one of my Monday Morning Greetings. I had a friend that was such a great intellectual. He had a nightmare that he was wrestling with Rupa Goswami over Siddhanta, over philosophical conclusions, you know. It's nice that there are simple Vaiṣṇavas, right? It's such a relief. We're all still intoxicated from the feast. I mean, I don't eat at night past, I don't eat past 1 o'clock. Except yesterday. Yesterday I was channeling my mother because my mother would come to the Vyas Puja, and she would say these. Someone's got their thing on, we're gonna nab them. You have to close it because we can hear you. There's only one person. So the channel, my mother, she would come to the Vyas Puja and she would eat the full feast. And then I would stay with her that night. I'd come home, she was cooking. So it runs in the family. Some of my points today because the mind's not coming here. Yeah. Someone's got their microphone on, so everybody check that you put your mic off because there's some sound in the background. Yeah. So it's that humility. It's that humility. And that humility begins with this acknowledgement that we're not the controller, we're not the enjoyer, and we're not the authority on reality. And it's that failure to be successful in our own happiness. It's not that God will bless us by being happy the way we think we want to be happy, which is not happiness. If you want that, just read about all these people who have everything. They have the wealth, they have the opposite sex, they have all the money to control in the world. They're all damn miserable. So it's not God's mercy. Why doesn't he make me miserable? And give me what I want and give me the, give me the, the billion-dollar yachts and the, then why doesn't he make us eternal? Right? Well, we are eternal. But why doesn't he make us eternal in the way I want, as the richest, as the most powerful, because that's not happiness. And if we want to be God, then let us do a little bit what God does and be the servant of everyone. We don't want that either. We really don't want to be God. We really don't want those responsibilities. We just want to be the enjoyer and the controller, and it doesn't work. because it's antithetical to the soul. So I was trying to make that point. I like that point I made with that Maharaj. You're very nice and guru, but it's simple. What's the complication? Gurus, everybody's a seeker. What do they want? They want the truth. They want to find a tradition of truth. They believe that there is an absolute truth. You can't get away from that. Even postmodernists, where there's no truth, everything's relative, but that's their philosophy and that's their truth. And they're militant about anybody who has another truth, which is that there is a truth, which is a reality that they have also. Rascals. So that psychology opens the consciousness to feel God. So it's a kind of understanding, but it's also a consciousness that allows us to feel God. And that's why that's part of the process. We have a teacher, we have a lineage to get knowledge, but also the application of the knowledge. And one of the main applications of the knowledge is to surrender to the truth and to serve it. And that's what Narada is looking for, and that comes in the form of sadhu sanga. That's our main prayer. Our main prayer is sadhu sanga. We search for sadhu sanga. My renounced cup. Put my chocolate smoothie in here. No, it's hot tea. But I don't want to be a popsicle. They used to call the brahmacharis that weren't renounced popsicles, because popsicles were orange on the outside and vanilla ice cream on the inside. Right? So my renounced cup. But whenever I ask a disciple to get me a cup, it's got to be renounced. At least I can have the external look. Another thing I don't do, one thing in my health is always taking almost a liter of water in the morning. So I'm practically never dehydrated because it's by 3 o'clock or something. Anyway, so I was talking about that journey, and then when the commitment, it's part of commitment is powerful because it takes you off the mental plane. You don't negotiate things after commitments. This is the truth, and I'm committed to it, and I'll follow it despite what my mind says. And that's also a demonstration of our love and commitment in relationships. And here, so Narada was enthusiastic about Lord Shiva in so many ways. He can give liberation. His followers are liberated. He's so detached. He has no external accoutrements of control. And he's non-different than Krishna, the second offense. He's not, he's different and non-different. But he's non-different enough that we can worship him as God, but not as God. So Lord Shiva is a very, special tattva, special truth. And Lord Shiva, because part of it is he's a devotee. And it's so amazing that Krishna worships also Lord Shiva in different pastimes, like Parashuram. When Krishna is in Nara Lila, he plays the form an ordered person should worship God. So Lord Shiva takes that role. And Lord Shiva serves his devotees. He stays on Mount Kailash as the guard of his devotee Kuvera, but he has his own planet, Shiva Loka. So all these glorifications will come And it's really an internal test of bhakti, because the material world means enjoyment and control. And means if you're exalted, that facilitates it. So you like the jai, 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 because it facilitates it. It facilitates on two levels. It gives you the power to control, and it gives you the feeling of superiority. And these are the two things that bring us to the material world. Icha dvesha samutena dvandva mohena bharata. These are two things that bring you to the material world. So Lord Shiva is militant. This theme comes up again and again, and I think we can discuss it again and again. Lord Chaitanya too, when Rupa Goswami was giving him the prayers, explaining, I believe it may have been even that verse, Anarpita Charim Charat Karunaya Vatir Nakalasama, that you're giving and explaining his position. He practically covered his mouth. He liked all, Lord Chaitanya loved all of Rupa Goswami's poetry, except the ones that was glorifying him. Mm-hmm. So, Lord Chaitanya doesn't want to hear. Lord Shiva becomes angry. But Narada still, he pleads. So there's the competition. Devotee wants to glorify, and the other devotee doesn't want to be put in the center, because the whole spiritual process is to put one in the center. That's the whole modern world. Advertising. I got that realization. It's so demoniac, advertising, because it's just a world of lies. Especially, I went into the doctor's office and I saw the advertisements for medicine. I said, how dare you, right? Trying to sell people medicine. Let the doctor prescribe it. And it's all bull. It's all, you're not trying to cure people, you're trying to make money. The pharmaceutical industry, the advertising, they're trying to make money. Make your products, let doctors prescribe it. No other country in the world, I believe, allows people to advertise medicine, because it's not prescribed by business people, it's prescribed by doctors. So the whole material world is advertising. Do this, you'll be more the center, you'll be more beautiful and rich and this, and you're better in the car and everything. It's the whole advertising world is driven by a false faith, a false objective. And the Bhagavatam, it does exactly the opposite. It advertises your position of service. It advertises those who are great in service. It exalts those who deserve to be the object of service. So this is a key point that goes through the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. And again, I also like that concept where there's one point that's presented in different ways. And it really sharpens the point. I often talk about Srila Sridhar Maharaj, Prabhupada's godbrother, is such an incredible philosopher that can conceptualize and express things. And when I went to visit him once in 1982, there's no controversy at that time. It was 1982, the year I met Henry, my good friend Henry, 40 years ago. Couldn't believe when he said that, how long ago it was. in Vrindavan. So maybe that year, maybe in the winter of that year, I went to Mayapur. My friend said, let's go to hear him. And I went. He was just sitting as a sadhu on a choki. A choki is a wood bed. It's not necessarily sleeping. It was like outside his room on the roof. And he was sitting there. There weren't many people there. And he was really, and then they said, oh, this is Dhanurdhara Swami. He's the principal of the Gurukula. And he said, how is Pradyumna? They all love Pradyumna. How is Pradyumna? How is Pradyumna? And then he said, and I said this many times, he said the Gurukula, the ancient school. And then I described, I was like, whoa. He took that philosophical point and put it in ancient Vedas, modern philosophy, modern education. People, I just was watching him. That's what a scholar does. That's what a good class is. There's one point, and the person puts it in different areas. Without one point is just sharpened. So look how the Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta does that about the quality of a devotee. His objective is to put God and the devotees in the center. His objective is to take himself out of the center. Because he wants to feel love, he wants devotion. And love is humility. Love is humility because it puts someone else in the center. And he's so when he says to Lord Shiva, he wants to glorify him so much, you won't allow me to glorify you. He wants to glorify him so much. And he says, well, at least admit that you know something about Krishna and you can communicate it to others. And we talked about Vyasa Puja. That's the whole essence of Vyasa Puja. Who is Vyas? He's the editor. He can make things understood. That's what the Vyasa Puja means. You've come to a lineage who has the realization to make things understood. So he's saying, he's glorifying Lord Shiva. You make things understood. That you able to help ordinary conditioned souls understand it. And also what's nice about Narada, because I'll speak in my local vernacular, he's no slouch. Amen. I see you've been in New York now that you live there, you know the language. Okay, right? That's great. He's no slouch. So what he's trying to do is, it's an interesting thing, because it's interesting. There's rasa and tattva. There's philosophical feeling, there's philosophical understanding, and there's feelings. So sometimes the philosophical understanding is compromised for the feelings. Philosophical understanding of a Mahabhagavat may be, I'm the guru, these people need to be educated. The feeling is, everyone's serving Krishna better than me. So that's Lord Shiva, his feeling as a devotee, because when there's that intense devotion, I'm saying the same points again because I have nothing to that same point, that what bhakti is a desire for Krishna. The stronger your desire for something, the less you feel you have it. So the stronger your desire for Krishna, the less you feel you have it. And that is the mood of devotion and love, which a devotee doesn't want to move out of. But for Narada, for his bhav, this is the person who's the object of devotion. I must glorify him. And please accept that. Please acknowledge you are so great. Ato hi Vaiṣṇavas shreshtai ishyate tod anugraha Krishnascha mahima-śreṇīṁ te prito vitunate dikam. The best Vaiṣṇavas therefore aspire for your mercy. Lord Krishna also has great regard for you and extensively spreads your glories. So here he's just so determined. Look at your position. You must have something because others aspire for your mercy. That you can give them something that they need and they can't get from any other person but you. So it's kind of almost an interesting thing, this competition between two bhavs. One's devotion is, I have nothing. The other's devotion is, you have everything. And it's a beautiful exchange in bhakti. Because even the person who's expressing it gets to express his devotion. The person who's refusing it gets to express his devotion. So they're both just nourishing their devotion. Nigama kalpatura galitam phalam sukha mukha amrita dravyatam Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta rasam alayam. It's all rasa. That's why this is not different than the Bhagavatam. It's all rasa. It's really the thing that we want to drink. I spoke to one devotee in Vrindavan. I have my room in Vrindavan. It's not used, so I like when it's used. So a friend was using it, and he's fluent in Hindi and whatever. I forgot what. So he went to one lecture by this great scholar, and he said he was breaking up every Sanskrit word, and elucidating meaning in just incredible ways. And it's so organic. But anytime it was a mention of Krishna's pastimes, he became like a child. He became like a child. Because it's not just intellectual. It's bibita, bhagavatam, rasa. Bibita means drink. It's not just intellectual. And Prabhupada puts that in one purport. I forgot where he put that purport. Some people say that Krishna is speaking to Arjuna. I see a river of nectar flowing from the mouth of Krishna, from the moonlight mouth of Krishna. Nectar. So, and then he says, even Krishna expands your glories. Machita madgata prana oriyantas parasparam. These are real devotees. Machita, my consciousness. Madgata, my goal. Prana, my life. Oriyantas parasparam. Exchanging. Man, isn't this life? Exchanging, right? It's more than intellectual. It becomes an experience that we share together. That's why it says it's so important. Shrinvata swakata Krishna. Punya Shravana Kirtan Yantasot Vidanoti Saritsitam. Shrinvata swakata. We're sharing kata. Pativarams to Krishnena vara vividha murtibi vakya bhavantam aradya kahita kati santana. Has Krishna not worshipped you many times in his various incarnations and taken for you many boons? So Krishna got the Sudarshana Chakra. It's a story. It's mentioned in the commentary that there is a story from Lord Shiva. When he wanted a son, he got blessed by Lord Shiva, his son. So he's saying, you're something special. Of course, Narada, sometimes he's so enthusiastic that his enthusiasm can disturb someone. And then he becomes, like later, he'll start speaking about the Uddhava, the great end. Uddhava says, no, I'm not the gopis. And then, separation. And then they have this argument. Are the residents of Vrindavan the recipients of Krishna's mercy? Because they have so much love. But what kind of mercy is that? They're dying in separation. And then Krishna gets into it and he becomes so disturbed. And he faints. And then Narada accepts responsibility, but they're a spiritual personality. I described different shapes of metal. Different shapes of metal become fire. Yes. Different shapes of metal become fire. And when they become fire, they become the same, but they maintain their shape. And that's the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Different personalities. Different personalities. They become pure in different ways. It's described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Different psychologies. Very different, but pure. So I think Narada is like an enthusiast. Now, wow, moving fast. Now what he'll do is Lord Shiva apparently made various mistakes. So he's going to clear this up. And we described this point that there's a level of meaning that gives you a clearer perception of reality. And a lot of times things are not what they appear to be. A lot of times things are not what they appear to be. So Lord Shiva's offenses are not what they appear to be. Even there's this great quote by Bhaktivinoda Thakur that I quoted in one of my Monday morning greetings. And in that quote, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he describes that sometimes acharyas disagree on certain, and how bad it is to take sides or saying on the very highest level on very subtle points. Remember, I knew one person, he was in ISKCON, and then he went into the Nimbark line. And he went to see me. I knew him well. I used to dial him up because he was a great scholar. On any verse in the Bhagavatam, used to dial him up. He memorized every commentary. And I'd say this, and he'd just go, like incredible points. And he just said, on the higher levels, there are no disagreements among pure devotees, even different lines. There's, Nimbark, bona fide, Vallabha, Śrī Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Brahma Sampradaya, Śrī Sampradaya. There are points that they disagree with. Madhva appears to say that there are eternally conditioned souls that are in hell forever. How do you understand that? And we're from Madhva. But there's a higher level of meaning, higher levels of perception of reality. When it goes to Lord Shiva and Krishna, there's an element of lila involved. How he tries to please Krishna in the pastimes, to exhibit certain things for various souls. So I'll just read through those. Narada said, I get lost in this book. It just keeps on moving spontaneously. The pages, I get lost. Sri Parikshit said, hearing this, Lord Shiva could no longer maintain his gravity. Ashamed, he sprang to his feet, covered Narada's mouth with both hands, and said, "Don't even mention that arrogance of mine." He's so embarrassed that I had offered benedictions to the Supreme Lord. Don't mention that arrogance of mine. Who the hell am I? Just an ordinary guy from Shiva Loka. Don't think that I'm in a particular ecstasy today. I'm sugared out. And sometimes when that happens, I don't take much sugar at all. You get older, it's not good. The cake, I take like a teaspoon of it. But Chinmayi's 7-layer cake is something extraordinary. I was watching all the old men at my table take seconds. I was shocked. He then boldly told Narada with surprise in his voice, "Just see the incomparable, incomprehensible power of the pastimes of the Supreme Lord." What does he do? Just see his pastime that he tries to get his devotees' blessings. Just see his incomprehensible power of his pastimes, that God is, when you seek blessings, it's almost like you don't have something. If you perform austerities, it's because you don't have something. But just see his pastimes, that sometimes he's even begging blessings from his devotees. And how sweet that is. Oh, my Lord is so sober. He is so deep and varied ocean of great qualities. Even though I have committed many kinds of offenses against him, he does not reject me. So you're seeing that he worships me. He said, that's not my glory. That's his glory. And he's so compassionate. Parikshit said, seeing Lord Shiva completely absorbed in the transcendental taste of pure devotion for Krishna. So this kind of thing of glorifying and him becoming upset, he's just like, no, it's Krishna. No, it's Krishna. And he's becoming more and more ecstatic. Narada, pleased beyond limit, grabbed Lord Shiva's feet, made him sit down, and spoke to appease him. Śrī Nārada said, you are so dear to Lord Achyuta. Is it possible you could ever offend him? Though people sometimes see what they think are your offenses, he never. There's a higher meaning to this. It looks like you offended him. It looks like he was seeking your patience, blessing. It looked like you were giving him blessings. And then he explains the different insight. Bāna was a cause of trouble for saintly persons. Too proud of the strength of his arms, he used magic to arrest Aniruddha and fight against Krishna, the wielder of the disc. When you saw that Bāna, your devotee, whom you had maintained like a son, was on the verge of being killed, to save his life, you offered prayers to Sri Hari. At once, Lord Krishna put aside his anger. Now, pleased, the Lord gave Bāna a form like his own and raised him to become one of your associates, a position really obtained by the demigod. So you were saying you created Bānasura, who's like your son, he attacked Krishna, but look at the result. We judge a thing by the result. Sri Nārada is very intelligent, sometimes a genius. He gave one example that in bhakti, you judge things by the end result. So a devotee may not be so advanced, he may be struggling, but if you see that he's on the path, you look at him at the conclusion, you treat him for the conclusion, not where he is. And he gave an example. Someone may be on a building and he's jumping off. So initially he'll jump in the air. But as he's going in the air, no one says, look, he's going up. Everybody says he's falling. Because that's so quickly the result. Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. Krishna declares after that verse, api chet siddharacharo bhajate mam ananyabhak sadeva yasamantavya. Declare, even if my devotee commits something abominable, api chet bhajate mam ananyabhak, if he's a fixed devotee, sadhureva, so I consider him a sadhu. Shipram bhavati dharma, because very quickly he will become righteous. Very quickly. So Krishna sees sincerity as long as the seventh offense is not committed, which is on the strength of the power of devotion, you commit those activities. When such enemies of Vaiṣṇavas as Garga worship you by severe penances, the benedictions you gave him were not without loopholes. So even if you gave benedictions sometimes because you had to reciprocate with your position, they maintain the procedures of the universal order, which is Sahayagya praja shrishva uvāca prajapati anena pasavishyadvam eshavo swishta kama, the ishta, you fulfill the desires of everyone. Nityo nityanam chaitanas chaitananam eka bahunam yo vididate, the supreme eko bahuda, for the one, for the many, eka bahuda, you fill their desires. The whole world is to encourage sacrifice. So if people sacrifice, even for material things, because at least they're sacrificing, at least there's some religiosity in that. Even if there's a material goal, there's a system. The Lord Shiva is following the system. The system. They don't want to defy the system because the faith of people is dependent on the rituals of sacrifice work. So even Lord Shiva had to follow, and the person got power. But he said, no, you didn't give him the complete power to do ill. You made a loophole in it. What's the Sanskrit word for loophole? Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta Maharaj is such a Na'avya likam, not without loopholes. Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta Maharaj is editing. How we figure that out, not without loopholes. I was there when they used to work on this. I used to sometimes go in the room because Gopi did the translation, and then they would discuss at Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta Maharaj and Keshav Bharti, they're the English editors. This is the masterpiece. In terms of clarity of thought and editing, this is the masterpiece of English translation. And I saw the way it's done. Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta Maharaj is the supreme personality of editing. I saw how it was done. They argue over words. They argue it over words, exactly what it means. They would go over and over and over again. And you had Gopi Pranada knew the Sanskrit. And then the philosophical points of what's being said. Although Triciketa and others like him foolishly dared criticize you, you never became angry at them because they were surrendered devotees of the plenary portion of Lord Hari. So Triciketa wasn't pure yet, but he was a devotee of Krishna. So we'll stop here, but now Narada, in this incredible transcendental competition. Okay, I don't know if Jamuna Jaya had to go to her. No, she's still here. Jamuna Jaya?
I was just about to run. Thank you, Maharaj, for class. I always love when you say, I got nothing, and then you come up with so many wonderful points.
That's my secret. I learned that in public speaking, that it's everything's integrity.
It's so great. One of the things I
so,
love.
So you go with your integrity and just say, yeah, I was actually surprised myself that I had something to say anyway.
It's so many great points, Maharaj. But one of the things I loved early in the class, you were saying about us wanting to be God, and then actually we don't want to be God because we don't want to do what God does. And that is to be the servant. So that was just such an interesting point. People's like playing God. No, we actually don't.
That just came up with me today. I was trying to figure that out. You know, with God, there's a lot of stuff that goes on. Can you imagine God saying, I just want to be alone? You know, will you stop bringing all your,
problems? Thank you, Raj. That just, and the other line you said is like, we want to be God. How else would you make the world? I mean, it's sort of like, it just made so much sense. So thank you, Raj, and thank you for the beautiful celebration yesterday. All the people in this call are so wonderful, and to see them and to see them serve you.
Nice meaning of Vyasa Puja. It was quite thoughtful.
Thank you, Maharaj. I was, like Rati said, I was like, no, but if he asked me, I said I'd do it. So thank you.
I guess it's pretty exhausting.
He's persuasive.
I can't believe how it's unprecedented the way they set it up. And my joke about, it's like the planet, the Temple of Vedic Planetarium. Little so hanging from the wall with the lights and all of them, right?
So wonderful.
And the flower petals falling from this, it's pretty, and then ripping off Target and Amazon.com and returning all the stuff. That's what I really like. That gave me immense joy. Okay, thank you.
Maharaj, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Yeah, I just want to second everybody's opinion about. I thought that the decorations yesterday was the best yet. It was like amazing with the those, I don't know what kind, those lanterns that were like surrounding surrounding Giriraj and Srila Prabhupada, all around,
I was a genius to order all that stuff from Target and Amazon.com and then have all the devotees pack it up. I don't mind. I'm not like, in my kind of culture I grew up, I couldn't be on the dole or welfare. I hear people in New Zealand or England. I mean, it's just something like it was like drummed into me. So I have a little righteousness, but ripping off Jeff Bezos, that
Bezos.
I don't know what his name is. As Madhurya Radhika knows, I never listen to the news. Okay. And Gail, it was great to see Joseph there. He
always enjoys and connects with you somehow or other, Maharaj. I'm so happy.
So now he's connecting with all the other people there too. He's very confident.
Yeah, every year he connects with the other people. Wherever you place him, he connects with them.
No, I see more his social side. I even talked to him. I can't pronounce, what's the soccer team that he likes?
Oh, Juventus.
He told me that he watched the game in the morning and then watched the rest in the car on the way up.
Oh yeah.
And then we were talking, and there's American players on it, and he was describing. I get into it.
Maharaj, you're supposed to be giving him your association.
There's American players on the team, and this guy and his uncle, and okay, all right. Anybody else like to say hello or comment?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Tota Gopinath here.
Hey, Tota, Haribo.
So great to hear from you, and so grateful to be one of many, many servants yesterday helping with your Vyasa Puja. It was a really great day.
Oh, yeah, you guys worked hard. I got the picture of the cleanup crew. And I think tomorrow we're going to have to crash the audiologist. So maybe later today, I'll call you up. We'll make a strategy how to do that best.
Okay.
Because they're definitely not working.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going. Anybody else say hello?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Maharaj, the returning of those items is supposed to be a big secret.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Oh, I enjoy it. Okay, I won't say anything more. Everybody here, confidential, okay? Confidential.
Yes,
normally I wouldn't allow that kind of stuff, but I mean, I just hate it that these big corporations, that they get money from every household in America, and they wiped out, the middle class business people. So
yes, I agree with your sentiment about Mr. Bezos.
Families in America.
Yeah. No, I agree with your sentiment. And my husband and I were talking about that last night. But yeah, it was supposed to be a secret.
Okay.
But anyway, great celebration last night. Yeah, I was, and let me tell you, doing the setup and the decorating and everything it was such a joy to be with all the devotees. And, I look forward to doing it for many more years.
Well, that's what I see is the people bond, right? In
Yes.
other words, you were new to the group that's been together for 20, 30. Now you're in it. You're in.
I'm in. Yay.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, Haribo. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. It's Malati
Hey, Haribo.
and Mike.
Who's the handsome guy next to you?
I didn't know there was a whole Juventus discussion yesterday. I would have brought Mike.
I'm a massive fan.
Oh. What team does he root for?
Juventus.
Juventus, big fan. Yeah.
We gotta hook these guys up, Maharaj.
Right? Maharaj, thank you so much for yesterday. It was so wonderful to see you and be with all the devotees. It was really beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Maharaj.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Maharaj. Madhurya Radhika here.
You must feel horrible when you hear how great
it was. I watched the entire Vyasa Puja. It was absolutely amazing. Done so well.
Was the video good?
The video was good, but I kept asking Eddie, I'm like, how come I can't hear the singing? And he said it's the noise cancellation with the mridanga. So that was like the only part that was like a little in and out is when the kirtan was happening. But the important like talks and everything and the offerings, I heard everything clearly. So Rati was on it, and I'm really appreciative. So I could feel like I was with you guys.
Okay, and you're checking on your health. Will you have to get an operation on the back?
It's not for the back. It's actually a blood clot that's inside the ovary. So it's like super painful. So they said stay local just in case you get a torsion. So I have surgery on Thursday. I mean, most of the people on the call know what I'm going through anyway. So no secrets there, but yeah.
I'm so uncouth that I bring it out. But okay, well, it's great that, I'm glad that they have the video and more people can participate, because
it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Next year, remember, I'm on the floor and I'm serving out. So Ed goes, look at you, you got out of that again. And I went, it's not something I wanted to get out of. I wanted to serve this year. So next year's my year.
It was done because we had some comments from last year that it should be improved. And I sent my article I wrote on Prasad serving, and as far as I can see, you were taking?
I served out.
You served out. You took. Served nicely? Right? Beautiful. Better. Much better. Okay. Good. Anybody else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Ishvari Sundari.
Sundari.
Devi Dasi.
Devi Dasi. Thank you.
Ishvari means the controller, the female controller, Śrī Radha, the beautiful female controller, Radha. Devi Dasi, the servant of the beautiful female controller, Radha. And it was great meeting your son. He just fit right in, huh?
He had an amazing time. I think towards the end, I was ready to go and he was ready to stay. He did. Thank you so much.
Nice. Very nice. Very nice person.
Thank you. And everybody made him feel so welcome. He was telling me he had a conversation with almost everybody. They were coming up to him, making him feel welcome. Like, it was really, really nice. He enjoyed it very much.
And he sat at the second tier VIP table.
Yeah.
Which is not the floor, but it was something.
It was a fun table. Bhakti Devi, and we had Gail and her husband, and Yadanath and Kanta, and I'm sorry the name of the other lady who was with us, but it was a good table to be at. We had a lot of fun.
That's Raj's wife, Brinda.
Ah, Brinda. Very nice, very sweet. Yeah, she was sitting next to Ethan, so it's really, really sweet.
Oh, wait, no, who was sitting at the end? That was Brinda Devi. I don't know if she's sitting next to you. Okay.
It was one of the Ravel, one of the elder Ravels.
Yeah, yes. It was the matriarch of the Raval family, and she's not an ordinary soul. She's 24 hours a day engaged in devotional service. There's not a second.
So sweet, so beautiful.
Yeah, okay. And we'll all pray for you, okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Please accept my obeisances. This is my first time joining on Zoom.
Who is this?
Yvette.
Hey, Yvette, what a pleasure to see you yesterday.
Yes, it was wonderful. That was my second time joining in on your Vyasa Puja, so it was wonderful. Okay. And seeing the initiation of dear Ishvari Sundari was amazing. So thank you for allowing me to be a part of that. And when you shared a little yesterday about, the ego and the control, I started crying, like I'm going through something in my life now where I have to constantly throw my arms up to Krishna. I'm at an end of a relationship. It happened pretty quickly. And, I keep going into that place of ego and then remembering to zoom out and remember that Krishna has a plan. So I go back and forth a lot. So what you shared is what I need to hear. And I hope to be joining more of these classes in the future. So thank you.
That's great. No, when a devotee even is transcendental, it doesn't mean that pain is not coming. It doesn't mean that it's the way you react. When it says a devotee does not move, the self-realized soul does not move. It doesn't mean that things are not moving towards them. It just means how we react and how we get greater meaning of the situation. Anyway, it was great to see you there, and wonderful. Okay, anybody else like to say hello today?
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Happy Vyasa Puja.
Were you able to watch it?
Yes, we were. It's one of my dreams that one day I can come to your Vyasa Puja Maharaj.
Was it good video? You were able to see a little bit of the decoration?
Yeah. Yeah, it was so beautiful, but we couldn't hear the kirtan.
For me also, everything was done first class. I was sitting at the table with, my friend Jayanta for 40 years, and Henry, an old friend, for so many years, and also Satyaraj, my godbrother, Hari Kirtan, and just the way that it was like, because Henry, he travels around the world regularly, 5-star hotels, and when you visit him in the hotel, he knows where to put the luggage, and everything's so fine, and how to give a tip, and how to do, he's got all, so but they had nothing. They had nothing on our girls serving out at the table. How fine. Would you like an orange crush with some ginger, Maharaj? Anything else I can bring you? And really, they had it down to really details this time, because they had so many people wanting to do service that they had it down to different details. And then they must have made about 80 garlands too, and they were all nice garlands. So that was great. Okay, nice to see you.
Thank you very much, Maharaj.
At least you could come on the Zoom.
Yes, that was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you,
Heard my lecture. Okay, good. Anyone else like to say hello?
Hare Krishna Garaj, it's Lal Govinda.
And Braja, thank you.
Haribo.
Haribo, great day.
You're reading my mind, Bṛhad-bhāgavatāmṛta. You're the one you're the one that gave me this idea. You're the rascal. Now I'm trying to see him as this pujari, and I see him as this famous actor in Hollywood now. And all you. Okay. And you like my personal joke to you too. That was great.
Wait.
About Alabama?
What did you say?
About Alabama, the joke about Alabama.
Which joke? I don't remember.
The service from Alabama and the Jersey girls. You came over and said the Jersey girls did great.
Oh yes, about Mallory. Yes.
Yeah, how she serves so sweetly. Okay. Anybody else? Say hello.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Namaste is here.
Oh, wow.
Haribo.
Where are you now? You're not in your farm. That doesn't look like the farm.
No, I'm in my apartment. Yeah. It was amazing. Vyasa Puja Maharaj.
Okay. Wait, where are you now? Near the village? You have an apartment or in Tehran?
Yeah. No. It's not in Tehran. It's nearby the farm. Maybe 5 kilometers from the farm.
Is the farm still being renovated?
Yeah.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you, Maharaj. Haribo.
Anybody
Hare
else?
Krishna Maharaj.
Who's this?
Arezu from Kish Island.
Okay.
Hare thank you. Thank you. Yesterday celebration is.
We were able to watch it?
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Okay, Hare Krishna. Good.
Haribo.
Anybody else?
Oh,
Hey, Rasik, you look a little bit better.
Yeah, I'm feeling much better, Raj. I'm bummed I missed yesterday, but it looked really
Hey, you
good.
should be bummed. It was worthy of being bummed.
Yeah.
But we had Mallory. I mean, she was Mallory and Ati Sundari as the waitresses for the VIP table. I mean, you couldn't beat that one, right?
golly.
They both go along with they're both so charming, and it was great. Okay. All right. Okay, yeah, okay. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna Maharaj, this is Krishna-katha from Moscow. Thank you for the class, and I congratulate you with your Vyasapuj. Unfortunately, I couldn't watch it. I was not able, but I hope there is a recording, and I will do this because it was my dream.
Okay, thank you. Good. Anybody else? Okay, time to go. But should go through this.